Look, I just flipped the switch.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, and give this video a like. Now, first off, what we got going on here is I combed the hair down in the direction that the back taper needs to lay, and then we're going over it with a 1.5 guard lever open, and we're just going with the grain just to soften up this bulk area that we're going to be fading into. Now, if you've seen from the very beginning of this video, my man is struggling here, so we're going to go ahead and try to get him back in the game, off the bench, back on the court of life, and just get him with a freshie. So after we knock out that bulk with the 1.5 guard lever open, what we're going to do is we're going to go against the grain. I'm going to go ahead and make my bald line with the lever all the way closed, and I'm making like a sad-faced shape in the back just to make sure that we get those edges, keep them nice and dark. So after we do that, we have the lever open, creating a panel of hair to fade into. Then we close that lever all the way, open it, slightly fade up, open it, slightly fade up, until we have this area completely faded out. Now, you want to just make sure that you're brushing the hair or using a comb to make sure you're laying the hair down properly so that you can fade against the grain. If you don't comb the hair down, the hair is going to bunch up and you're going to be struggling to get a nice blend. So you want to make sure that you're combing, fading, or brushing, fading, whatever you may be using. Now we have that half guard on, lever open, creating a panel of hair, and then we close it, fade up slightly, open the lever, fade up slightly, open the lever, fade up slightly, until we have that area completely knocked out. Now, if I'm not mistaken, my client here is growing his hair out for dreads, so you know he wants the top grown out mostly, so that's what we're working on with the growth, and just knocking out these tapers. So on the sides we're going to do a high taper, on the back we're stretching out this blend, and you can see I was directing the hair with that comb right there. The hair kind of grows inwards towards the center of his neck, so we want to make sure that you're combing the hair in the direction that it all needs to lay. Now we got that 1 guard lever open, creating another panel of hair to fade into. You want to just make sure that you're keeping your guidelines thick enough to where you can, keep a solid blend. So for this specific taper, we are extending the blend up and we are spreading it out. So you want to make sure that you are just paying attention to little details like that. Once we created that panel, we close the lever all the way, open it up, slightly fade up, open the lever, slightly fade up, until we have that panel of hair completely knocked out. And you can see here it's transitioning well. We got my client looking blurry for the most part at this point, and we're just going to continue working on this neck taper until we get to the bulk of the haircut. Now I have that 1.5 guard on, lever open, which is equivalent to your 2 guard, and we're just creating another panel of hair to fade into, kind of just scooping into that bulk of the hair. Once you created that panel, you already guessed it, we're going to close that lever, open it, slightly fade up, open the lever, slightly fade up, until we have that area completely knocked out. And with the sides of my client's edges, they grow inward, so you want to make sure you're using your clipper and going against the grain. You want to pay attention to those little details about your client to make sure that you get the best possible fade you can. Now I have that 2 guard on, lever open, and you can see I'm scooping out just so we can maintain that shape of the curls on the top. You want to make sure that your haircut flows together. You don't want just a drop and just a hard line in your fade, if that makes any sense. You want it to transition well and not to see a bunch of bulk kind of just overhanging. You don't want like an undercut type taper to your haircut that you're doing. So just make sure that you're scooping out and free shaping what you can to make sure that we have a good transition on the taper. Now the 2 guard lever closed didn't get out what I wanted it to, so I reverted back to my 1.5 guard, and I'm kind of just detailing as I'm combing the hair down just to get areas knocked out that I see that are not flowing with the cut. Now I'm free shaping around the ear using the Los Cut It Barber Influencer Edition Skeleton FXs. Got that DLC 2.0 blade on there, straight out the box, no zero gapping. Got the 245 power clip on there, and we're just knocking out these back edges on the nape tape. Now what we do to the left side, we're going to do to the right side. And just make sure that you're taking your time and getting everything as crispy as you possibly can. Just laying down the groundwork for the rest of the haircut. And just make sure that, you know, you keep it consistent all the way around the head. Make sure that you have symmetry with your haircut. And just do the best you can to just give your client the best quality work you can. After we do the edge up, what we're going to do is we're going to take our barber pencil and we're going to outline the edge up portion. And that's going to act as a barrier for the color enhancement that we do later on in the video. But we'll get to that later on. I'm just making a line right here on both sides of the edge up with my barber pencil. And that is the light brown color. And then next thing we're going to get to is the taper. And you can see me using the comb to lay this hair down so we can get a good flow to this cut. I'm going to lay his edges down on his on the front of his edge up so we can get that lined up nice and crispy as well. Now I have the skeleton FXs. We're making our bald line. I'm just scooping up and just getting all this hair knocked out so we can get back to our clipper work. Before we get to that fade portion, we're going to go ahead and knock down the bulk of this cut with the 1.5 guard lever open like we did on the back. Now after we do so, we're going to go ahead and open our lever with no guard, create our first panel of hair to fade into. And you want to make sure that you're keeping the shape consistent. So you can see I'm trying to mirror the bald line, trying to mirror that shape that we had created. And by doing this, it just helps you to stay more consistent. And we're not making too much of a too much of a panel of hair to fade into. Reason being, this is a smaller area to fade. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that as well. Now we have the lever closed, open to slightly fade up, open the lever slightly fade up until we have this area all knocked out. And the parts where you know, lever playing, we're not going to have that sped up. This is all real time to make sure that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Now we have the half guard on there, lever open, creating another panel of hair to fade into. After we create that panel, we're going to go ahead and close the lever, open it slightly fade up, open the lever slightly fade up. And you want to make sure with the side tapers, the temple taper area, that you are using the corner of your blade just to knock out those little portions that curve. So you can see like the C shape. You want to make sure that you get in the curve area with the corner of your blade, and that just makes it easier to fade that way. Now after that, we're going to go ahead and get that 1 guard lever open, create another panel of hair, and we're just stacking guards on this side. On these tapers, we're just stacking guards to make sure that we get the best possible blend. And by stacking guards, you will ensure that you do get a clean taper, and it's just going to flow effortlessly. The more reps you put in, the better you'll get at the process, the fade technique. And you know, this may not work for everybody, but this is the system that I have in place, and this is the system that works for me. So right here, we're just laying down, combing down the hair like I said. We're using that 1.5 guard and just trying to detail these little areas. But I appreciate everybody for clicking on this video. If you're liking the video so far, hit that thumbs up. Helps out the algorithm of the channel and just gets the content out to more people that are trying to look for this type of content, trying to look for barber tutorials, any barber related content. Now I'm free shaping with the JRLs, lever closed around the ear, and just the areas that is very bulky, and you can see that line of demarcation. You want to make sure that you're just free shaping these areas, softening up that area so that it all flows together, and we keep that kind of blowout shape to the haircut. And when we do style this, we will be doing a curl sponge style at the top. So now we're going to go ahead and lay down those edges so we can edge those up nice and crispy. Once we got it laid down, I am going to take those skeleton FXs. I'm going to go ahead and edge up around the ear. My client was falling asleep. He was riding the struggle bus that morning. Tough for him to stay up, but we got through this haircut. You always got to be on your toes when you're a barber because you don't know what client's going to fall asleep. I myself, I always fall asleep when I'm in the chair. It's gonna happen. It's just, I don't know, it's just something about being in the chair is just super relaxing, you know, for that, 30-40 minutes, you don't got nothing to worry about but that haircut. So, that's a very relaxing thing. I feel as a man, you ain't got nothing on your mind but, getting your haircut at that moment. And there's a lot of stresses of life that could be on the shoulders of a lot of men, and women too, but you know, we're talking about the barbershop here, so you know, those things all kind of just dissipate and disappear for a quick minute while you're getting your cut. So, but we're knocking out this front edge up here, the forehead area and the vertical bar, get it nice and crispy. Then we're going to go over the edge up with a barber pencil like we did on the nape area, and this is just going to serve as a barrier for the color enhancement that we do later on in the video, like I said. Now we're going to go ahead and get to that beard portion. I'm picking out the beard, making sure everything is extended, the hair is completely combed out, so we can start the fade process with the beard work. But you can see that taper right there is looking icy, and basically how you fade up is how you're going to fade down on the beard area and just get this area knocked out. Make sure you're combing the hair down so you can see how it's laying properly. We've got that one guard on there, and I'm just kind of raking just to keep a good shape and keep it thick towards the bottom. Then I'm going to go ahead and take that 1.5 guard lever open, and we're just kind of free shaping with the grain, getting the flyaways knocked out, those frizzy hairs that are, you know, kind of poking out. We're getting that all laid down, and then I will go over it in freehand with the lever closed, no guard, from the back of the beard to the front portion where the goatee area is at. And then we're going to go ahead and shape up underneath it, give it some shape, keep it, you know, rounded. And by shaping it, it just gives a cleaner look to your client's beard. So you want to make sure that you're just taking the time to do that. But make sure that you are consulting with your client and checking in how they want their beard work done before you actually attack all this. Now we're getting the back of that beard edged up, lined up. I had to tilt his head a little bit to get underneath there because his beard is hanging kind of low under his jawline. Now once we get this area knocked out, I'm gonna go ahead and get to the mustache portion, comb the hair down, get it edged up right above the lip line, and then we're gonna flip that trimmer over and get the top of the mustache and keep it a little bit thinner than what it's at right now. And I gotta say, I'm loving these trimmers right now. I'm loving these Lowe's Cutted Barber Influencer trimmers. They're doing the job. If you've seen my unboxing video, you know, I hadn't really used it on every texture of hair yet, but at this point I have used those trimmers on every texture of hair, and they are doing a great job at getting crispy lines and balding out and everything. But what we're doing here on the left side is what we did exactly on the right side, and just keeping everything symmetrical, making sure that the haircut is all flowing together. But shout out to Germ Boomin for the beat. You can follow him on Instagram at Germ Boomin. Follow his YouTube channel. Great beat selection he's got going. But right now we're attacking underneath the beard. It's a little bit farther than where the jawline is located, and just keeping it nice and bulky under there, and trying to give him the fullest possible look to his beard. But like I said, I've had a lot of clients, you know, they follow the YouTube channel, they follow my Instagram and Facebook, so they know when, you know, I got a new tool in, and a lot of people are complimenting these trimmers. It's getting great reviews from all my clients that, you know, they're not biting, they're not, you know, they can hardly ever feel that I'm even cutting anything because of how soft they are. So, you know, that's a great thing when clients are giving you that approval for the tools you're using, because at the end of the day, all these tools are being used on them, so their opinion is going to matter on how they feel and how they operate. But once we get that beard line knocked out underneath, we're going to go over all of our work with the razor. I have that 245 triple cartridge razor on there with a derby blade that you can get at Sally's. And I go over this area twice just to make sure that we have the shape that I'm looking for, that curvature that I'm looking for. Make sure that you're stretching that skin the opposite direction from which the blade is going. And then we're going to go ahead and lay down that light brown barber pencil on the top of the edge of the beard. And like I said, that's going to be a barrier for the color enhancement that we will use later on in the video. And the color enhancement that I will be using is going to be the 245 No Drip color enhancement, the Onyx Black. It's just a great tool to have, great to work with the compressor that I have, so it just makes everything so much easier and convenient to use a, you know, color enhancement, and as opposed to something like Biggin or Kiss Express that you lay on with a brush. But I got that Sean Cuts Hair color card that we're using to help create a barrier to where the color is laying. And we're just going to keep it, you know, as natural as possible, but make it look as crispy as possible. And that's the goal. You know, you don't want to lay down too much color enhancement to where it doesn't look natural, that it looks super fabricated or photoshopped, and that's not the goal. You want to make sure that your client is getting a haircut that is going to last outside of the shop as well. Color enhancement should only be used to enhance a cut, not to cover up your mistakes or anything like that. So make sure you're paying attention to those things. But as you can see, this cut is coming together. It's icy. Got the icy tapers, the crispy edge up. The haircut's looking full. The hairline's looking full. And we're just taking our time and making sure that everything flows together. But now I'm using those trimmers to blend out that barber pencil that we had laid down. By using the blade, it just knocks out those very white lines or light brown lines that we had, and makes it look more natural. And basically the barber pencil is just highlighting the edge up that we have by creating some contrast between the skin and the hairline. Was going all the way around the head with that trimmer and making sure we get that barber pencil blended out. Now with the vertical bars in the beard, I personally like to use the razor to blend that line out, and with the nape edge up and the front edge up, I like to use the trimmer. It's just worked out easier for me that way, and it's been working. But there is the haircut. We're coming to the end of this video. I appreciate everybody for clicking on this video. If you got something out of the video, give this video a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button. I'm truly grateful for everybody that tunes in to these videos that I put up every week. Right now we're getting to the styling portion. Sprayed it with some hairspray, and we have that curl sponge and just creating some shape here. I am going to use my left hand to make sure that we keep the whole haircut looking full, because when you use the curl sponge, you can expose the scalp a little bit more. So you want to make sure that you're directionalizing that hair and making it look full. But there's the cut. Icy tapers, crispy lines. Once again, like I said, I appreciate everybody for clicking on this video. I hope that everybody got something out of this, because that is the goal, is to educate and pass on whatever information I possibly can. But that'll do it for this video. Until next time, God bless.